6:30 on our Wednesday morning here on Up with KREM. We are just hours away from the House voting on the next stimulus bill. This time, it includes a new child tax credit. This morning, what that could mean for your family.
Plus, more people are becoming eligible to receive a vaccine in Idaho.
There's roughly 60% of Idahoans who are anxiously awaiting, if not already vaccinated, anxiously waiting to get vaccinated.
Today, we'll tell you why officials are now expressing concern for people who are waiting to get their own dose of the vaccine.
And as the sun comes up on Spokane, we're seeing a little bit of patchy fog develop. We'll talk how long that sticks around and what you can expect later today.
Up with KREM begins now.
Here at 6:31 this morning, we can all think that we live in the best place in the U.S., but hey, in Washington, we've got some validation in Idaho too, because trending online this morning, U.S. News is ranking the best states for 2021. Washington State is #1. That's the top spot that they've held since 2019. And U.S. News says the Evergreen State is an outdoor enthusiast's dream with its geological diversity.
Idaho also made the top 10 list, coming out at #5. I absolutely agree with this list. Of course, we're a little bit biased here, but to see that, yes, we do actually live in the most incredible place. And I'm going to be speaking about how we got this ranking, what types of things went into that, and I could agree.
Absolutely. And with temperatures soaring to near 60 degrees this weekend, might be time to go dive in one of those lakes around town for a swim.
Do a little cold plunge.
You might be solo on that,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
What, is that just me?
Is this like when you recommended that we pet an orca yesterday? Just things you shouldn't recommend that we do?
You know, a viewer said when she was a bit younger, she tried petting a swan, and those are mean too. So, pro tip, just don't pet wild animals.
And don't jump in the lake yet.
It's actually really good for you. A cold plunge, apparently, I've learned this weekend that if you get into the water, it's supposed to rejuvenate blood flow and be really healthy for you. They do that over there in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
And there's
see?
been studies, people live longer.
See,
You guys are
there you
all
go.
on your own.
I
I will be at home in my sweatpants, nice and warm.
Maybe the adventures with Jeremy this week, I will just go jump in a lake somewhere and talk about all the benefits. Should I do that?
Good.
Okay.
Absolutely. Jeremy, look up the Winhoff method and then jump in a lake.
Dana Marie, text that to me because I'm going to forget it, but I will do that for Adventures with Jeremy. Coming up, we're going to have me jump in a cold lake, but before we get there, let's go ahead and get you out the door today. Right now you're going, he's not serious. I'm serious about that. I'm going to call up my photographer and say, Dave, we're going to jump in a cold lake, and he's going to say no, and I'm going to say yeah. So 27 degrees right now. I do think temperatures dip a bit more, and as they do, we'll condense more of that moisture. We'll see a little bit of patchy fog, but this time of year, our sun angle is high. That heats the ground up rather quick. That gets rid of some of that fog, the way it all works. And so as it comes up, expect temps to rise. We're sitting at 26 degrees in Coeur d'Alene, 27 here in town, 23 up in Sandpoint this morning. Our storm is now down in California, making its way ashore just north of San Francisco. That thing is going to be one to watch, not necessarily for us, but for some others. Today, we wind up seeing a few scattered showers thanks to a different wave of energy, this one moving in from the northwest. That's going to spark up this afternoon when we get some of that daytime heating, those warmer temperatures from our sun angle getting a bit higher. That's going to give us some isolated showers and even a little bit of snow, a little bit of grapple, everything in between here across the inland northwest. I think your best chances for that grapple, maybe Highway 2 and off to the north. So just know it is possible as we move through the day today. Throughout the day, though, temps climb. We're seeing a mix of clouds and sun. And temps in the upper 40s, you are going to still see that sun even as some of those isolated heavier downpours continue.
Jeremy, thank you. 6:35 now. This morning, let's take a live look at the East Coast. This is at the nation's capital. Hey, today the House is expected to pass the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. Now, that bill includes a $1,400 stimulus check. It also provides increased unemployment benefits. Now, part of the bill also includes a child tax credit. Democrats say it will help lift nearly 10 million children above the poverty line. Now, that bill proposes monthly payments to families with children, and that could begin as early as July and run through the end of the year. Under the plan, the U.S. government will pay families $300 per month for every child under the age of 5. It would be $250 for each child aged 6 to 17. Those amounts begin to decrease for single parents making $75,000 or more, or couples earning $150,000 combined. Democrats say this is a way to significantly decrease childhood poverty, and they hope the program becomes permanent. Again, the bill is expected to go up for a vote today, and if approved, President Biden could sign it into law this week.
You're at 6:36. Here are 3 things you need to know about the COVID-19 vaccine today.
Number 1, here soon more people will be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine in Idaho. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare says it's ahead of schedule. It plans to open up vaccinations Monday for Group 3. Now that includes people 45 to 64 years old, but there are 4 subgroups. So starting Monday, people 55 to 63 living with a medical condition can get the vaccine. On March 22nd, people without conditions in that age range will follow. After that, vaccine appointments will open for people 45 and older.
There's roughly 60% of Idahoans who are anxiously awaiting, if not already vaccinated, anxiously waiting to get vaccinated. And then the numbers get a little bit squishier, but somewhere around 20% of the population are in what we would call the interested. They're not opposed to the vaccine, but they're in kind of the, I'm going to wait and see. And that leaves about 20% of the population that has some portion that's in the, I'm never ever going to take the vaccine, or some portion that's going to be much harder to convince to take the vaccine.
Experts say about 55% of adults in Idaho 65 and older have at least 1 shot, but they add demand for the vaccine is on the decline. So as a result, some vaccine providers are struggling to fill available appointments.
Number 2, take a look at your screen. We've got some of the percentages of the fully vaccinated people by state. As you can see, both Idaho and Washington have that middle range of about 9 to 11% of the state totally vaccinated. In Montana, more than 11% of the state has been vaccinated so far. Now, take a look at this. As for partial vaccinations, about 17 to 21% of Washington's overall population has received 1 shot, also in that middle range. That's in line with the percentages we also see across the entire West Coast, including Nevada and Arizona. But Idaho has less than that 17% mark of their population that is partially vaccinated.
Well, number 3 here, what does fully vaccinated mean? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it takes about 2 weeks from inoculation. So that includes both doses of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines or 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Experts say patients should take all preventative steps until fully vaccinated.
Meanwhile, the CDC has released guidelines on what you can do and what you should still avoid after you have been fully vaccinated. The agency says fully vaccinated people can visit with other fully vaccinated people inside without wearing masks or social distancing. They can also visit with unvaccinated people from a single household who are at low risk for severe disease, also without wearing a mask or social distancing. They also do not need to quarantine after a known exposure, as long as they have no symptoms. However, the CDC says it is still important to wear a well-fitted mask and socially distance yourself in public and avoid medium and large-sized gatherings.
Fully vaccinated patients can gather indoors with unvaccinated patients from 1 household. Though experts say if the unvaccinated people are at high risk, everyone should wear a mask.
Coming up, a stadium proposal in Spokane has the possibility of being home of a new professional soccer team. After the break, we'll speak with the Chief Operations Officer of the United Soccer League about what a professional team could mean for the Spokane community.